Hello, thank you for tuning in to my cast of Snow vs. Hero. This was played on the ladder about 1 week ago. I don't think these players need any big introduction here. You should know who they are. This is one of the greatest Protosses, probably right now the strongest Protoss that there is, against a Zerg who's basically been top 3 modern Zergs for, I'd say, the last 4 to 5 years. He's always been consistent and very scary to play against. So this is on the map, Neo Dark Origin. We've got Hero in the top left. We've got Snow in the bottom right. And as I say in many of my other videos, please do subscribe to the channel, turn on the bell notification, and leave a comment in the comment section, as that will help me grow this channel. You can always join me on my Twitch stream, twitch.tv/tastelesstv, where I cast these live. And please check out my merch at tastelessthreads.com. To start this off, we're going to have the gateway expand. Remember that this map is pretty punishing when it comes to center control. It doesn't mean that it has to come down to that if the game's shorter, but if we get past about the 8 to 9 minute marker and we're in a game where, you know, it can't be ended immediately, it is really important to try to control this, control your opponent's bridges, control your own bridges, because otherwise it's just very difficult to make it anywhere on the map. In this game, we have Hero going for what they call overpool. So getting the Overlord started, then the spawning pool. This is probably the safest build that you can do. It doesn't have any major strengths. It also doesn't have any major weaknesses. But it makes it so that you can't die to like a cannon rush. 2-gate can be a little tricky to play against, but there's ways to play that out as well. And so now we've got Snow over here, really interfering with the ability to plant this hatchery. You can see that Hero actually sent the drones out slightly earlier to try to damage the probe and buy some time. It looks like he will, barely get denied there, and immediately Snow throws down a pylon. Big opening here. We could already see at the top, Hero is floating plus 300 minerals. You never want to do that. And at this point in time, he knows it's not worth it to try to kill the pylon. He'll make a hatchery over here and probably cancel the pylon shortly after it's almost finished. There it is. And I'm always excited when I get to see someone like Snow do a rush like this. This is a build I like to do, and I find it very cool that he actually doesn't send the initial zealot. Instead, he sends it back here. And it looks like he's even going to maybe go back closer to his ramp. He makes his nexus on, it looks like 19 supply. I guess stops probes here as well. And then this is a formation that's basically designed so that you can't get punished by a Ling run by. So he puts this on hold position here. He's got another zealot being made out here. And there are some tactics Zerg can do, like try to harass the gateway, draw the zealots out, and run back in. But you get the idea. He's making his 3rd pylon back at home and getting one more zealot. Now, since the pylon was canceled over here, he can throw down what would have been a hatchery that he would have made over here. His 3rd hatchery is instead just put right down here. 4th zealot is making. We don't have a forge yet. And so I got to say I'm kind of impressed at the bravery here of Snow. He hasn't scouted, but he is going to get his assimilator up first, his forge down second. He sends all 3 zealots out. And it looks like he's going to have this one zealot finished just in the nick of time to block if he can get it upright. Meanwhile, these 2 zealots are inbound. And the idea at this point in time is to scout exactly this. You need to know, is Zerg going to go for a layer and play more of a standard opening, or is he going to play an aggressive one where he might be able to kill the Protoss right away? The Zealot Rush allows you to figure that out. Now, since the Zealots were fractured in their positions, we've got 2 here and 2 up in the main, he's going to have to figure out, does he want to wedge these behind minerals like we see he could over here or maybe back here? Or does he want to push into the main? Keep in mind, this is pressure, but it's also you trying to get intel. Now, he's going to see these drones are about to hatch. Oh my god, he almost gets it. That's too bad. So he's going to stick these in a corner where the Zerglings can't quite get a comfortable surround. Notice that there's not any hydras being made just yet. So this won't scout this just yet. And look at this. This is perfect. Just like you're going to wall at a ramp, he wedges it between the Vespian Geyser and the mineral field. Which basically means if you're going to kill this with Zerglings only, it's going to be very, very cost inefficient. If you're going to make a Hydra and do this, then you've given away your attack. So let's watch carefully for what Hero wants to do here and how exactly he wants to play this. You can see the Stargate is coming along. We've got the weapons upgrade. It's just started. A third Zealot's being made. The attack comes in, and see, now he has to have this Hydra out here. The control from snow is pretty good. And he is eventually going to clean this up. But what's more important is that the Zerglings identify that the Hydras are coming. And, you know, we see so many games where the Protoss just gets blindsided by an attack like this. But now, he should have enough cannons to be okay. But I will tell you, man, 2 is not the number. You really want to go up to 4 if you can. And so this attack is going to come down. I'm a little scared for Snow right now. I think he can barely hold this. The cannons are placed very close to the gateway in the forge, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult to actually kill the forge especially. I think the gateway kind of fall. I imagine he's getting Hydra range. There it is now. And he's continuing to make Hydralisks. So this is a little bit scary. We have the 3rd and now the 4th cannon. A 5th will be planted. Inside the main, the tech is going to be 2 more gateways. Doesn't look like he actually has upgraded charge yet. But he will have to do that if he wants to have you know, any viability with these Zealots. And so the Lings come in the front. The Hydras try to come in here and deal the damage. I like the probes up here at the entrance to buy a little bit of time. Sometimes we'll see players warp at a pylon here or here just to get in the way. Oh, dude, he might actually just die. Okay, the probes have been pulled. They managed to trip up one of the Hydralisks. 2 more cannons come down. That'll total it out to 5. The Forge is now under attack, and this means that the weapons upgrade is going to be picked off very... well, it's just... Yeah, he has to cancel it. Back at home. Dude, am I going crazy? He's still not getting the Zealot speed upgrade. Keep in mind, this is a lot of lost mining time. And Hydras are continuing to be massed out. Well, that's actually not true. I'll take that back. There are some drones hatching here. When you do commit to the Corsair with a build like this, you have to scout and see, are drones hatching back at home or are Hydralisks being produced? So, Pro Gamer move there cancels that one cannon as he sees more drones are mining at the minerals. Now, okay, the charge upgrade is finally started, but it is pretty late. Not only is that late, but the weapons upgrade was denied. So, although we could look at this game and say, like, wow, look, Snow survives the rush. Having the late charge upgrade, Templar Archives, I don't believe that's even started yet. I think this is pretty comfortable for Hero. You know, the truth is that this Hydra Rush build, in some ways, I would say this is maybe the best aggressive opening in all the matchups in maybe all the StarCrafts. Because you're able to recover pretty nicely. You give yourself an opportunity to win the game outright, where the Protoss is in the dark early on. But if it doesn't completely... You know, if you do, for instance, get the Forge... force him to make a lot of cannons, you can still play out a macro game. And that's exactly what we have here. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hatches. So this is becoming a game where the Zerg is going to be ready for a fight and try to take the Protoss' push on directly. Now, there's 2 routes. You can go for Hydras into Mutas, or you can go for Hydras into Lurkers. So if you try to do both, you end up having... not enough for either of them. Hold on, I gotta blow my nose. I got a boogie. Hold on, guys. Okay, I'm back. Oh my god. It's like a booger right about to come out of my nose. Sorry about that. Sorry for breaking the 4th wall. But it had to happen. So he kills that Overlord. He's just trying to find whatever value he can. when you see the zealots out on the map like this, it's generally more of an honesty check. If you can get in there and do real damage, then the Zerg is not respecting the fact that you do have some ways to. You're not respecting the fact that you need to actually be ready for that. So it looks like he's actually making the 2 lurkers here. And, let's see if I was totally wrong. He has a Spire coming, but I don't think we're going to have mass muta with the 2 lurkers. That just seems a bit strange, doesn't it? I just said he couldn't do that, but every once in a while I'm completely proven wrong in these games. Let's see if this is going to be one of them. So 1-1 is about to finish. Remember, those upgrades were shut down earlier. For the Zerg, +1 missile attacks is going to be done. The Spire finishes, and it is going to be basically Lurker tech. There are some Scourge on the map, but this is really the Lurker route. He may try to spring Mutalisks on him later on. But for now, he's setting up to control the bridge. And just like I say in every cast that we have on this map, you really want to watch for who's able to be on the opponent's side of the bridge. Organically, Zerg gets control of this before the Protoss does. Doesn't mean that they can't win. But for the ebb and flow of a normal PvZ, this is a situation the Protoss has to figure out how to deal with. So the 2 Corsairs are roaming on the map. So I see a question in the chat. Only 2 Corsairs, so mass muta could work. It could, but you need to count how many lurkers are making. Now, in this game, it's kind of a weird one because I only see 2, and normally you would see plenty more. This is going to be a lurker contain right out the entrance. This seems to be a very trendy build nowadays on this map. And I think part of it's because this is actually a pretty difficult area to push out of. The area that Protoss has to push out of is considerably smaller than the area that's here. It's like, you might have heard in other casts I've done where I talk about the concave always beats the convex. Well, it's definitely applicable in a game like this one. So Dragoon range, I think it's actually done already. Yeah, it looks like it's done. He's going to try to push out. Generally, the Achilles heel for the Protoss in this position is the Observer, but I don't think he can get a Scourge over here. One Corsair goes down. Snow continues his push. I like that he's not doing Storms unless he's really confident he can get value out of it. And so he's finding the optimal spots to hit these Hydras. And there it is. He drives him out. The contain is busted. I think it might have been more beneficial for Hero to have more lurkers a little bit earlier on. Because whenever you break a Zerg's contain, the Zerg's in a flimsy position everywhere else. You can see there's not a lot defending here. I mean, this is kind of a base that's hard to get to, but there's not a real line of defense. Instead, it's a massive amount of units, and that's because you really give everything you've got when you do a contain. Now, Protoss is going to try to move out on the map. Let's see if I can go really big picture here. So there's a counterattack inbound. Protoss is basically trying to generate a threat up here so that Zerg can't just try to do a full-on counterattack. The third is being warped in right now, and I think Protoss is going to try to come in here for a sandwich. So Snow is going to move in. You know, the Lurkers are not burrowed, and they're not really burrowed in a spot where the Protoss has to do much to acknowledge them. The Lurkers are going to come in a little bit late. Some of them killed off before they can even burrow. Dude, Snow is killing right now. So he breaks the second contain. And now, that final Lurker is going to fall. I don't know how many Storms are in the bank. It looks like there are enough if he can basically locate them. Beautifully done. Kills off those Hydras here. I mean, Hero's got a lot, but honestly, if the Protoss still has some Zealots and there's Storms that can pair with the Dragoons, I think this is still doable. More Zealots come in here to reinforce. Snow probably in the middle of a macro cycle, comes up again with just perfect Storms. Morphs an Archon, more Templars there, and ultimately just wins that game with a push. Nicely done. Let's take a look at the contain here. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know why he didn't get more lurkers here. So as you can see, I mean, the number of cannons that you're forcing out here, Zerg recovers pretty fast. Let me speed up to the contain part here. Because, you know, I was talking about earlier, you usually want to get lurkers out pretty quickly. All right, so he morphs the first two over here. And then he didn't morph any lurkers for a while. So what's the deal? He comes down for this contain. And when it was time to break out, he was getting 5 more. And you know, he does have the 5 up here. You can see it. But he doesn't really have them in a spot where he can defend as easily. For instance, these lurkers right here can be hit with 1 storm. You basically want to have the Protoss forced to have 1 storm per lurker if they're going to storm a lurker. That's the rule. And so you can see the hydras are pushed away over here. The lurkers are not covered. The overlords are a little bit too far back, if you see that as well. And there's no way to get the observers. So this is basically a really good bust versus a sloppy contain. Yeah, so thank you so much for watching that cast of mine. I hope you will check out my merch shop. This is a shirt that says "Get Good Scrub" with some beard dandruff on it, apparently. But go to tastelessthreads.com. We got a bunch of cool things that you can buy there. And subscribe to the YouTube. Join me on Twitch if you're on in Korea hours in the afternoon. That is when I am usually streaming. And I hope you have an amazing day. Bye-bye.